Okay, welcome back to members of 121 Community Church in Grapevine, Texas, and our study in Corinthians by Paul around AD 56. We're going to look at our recall triad for chapter 11, 1 through 16, on the ethics of design, which is situated within Paul's overall ethics of new mind. Let's take a look at block 1. Take a look at the Kateko, recollection. We are to imitate Christ. We are to continually recall the apostolic teachings in the scriptures, and Christ is the Kephali head of our Christian ethics. And then in 11:11, Paul's apostolic teaching tells us that man is a social creature and designed to live with woman. Block 2, we take a look at the prayer life. We are to approach God in an honorable way. Exercising the gift of prophetic teaching demands the same honorable approach. The believer is to negate any aspect of shame and seek to affirm grace in prayer life. And then in 11:12, we approach God in prayer life, realizing that all things in creation are of God and out of God. So we go from a recollection through prayer and into block 3 into divine presence. Through recollection and prayer, we come into the presence of God's doxa glory. God's doxa glory is reflected in the entire created design of order. God's presence is only acquired through Christ. And then in 11:16 we get the concept of a syntheia. God's doxa glory is also reflected in the designed male-female design of habitation, the designed relationship, which is divinely appointed. But from here, let's take a look at our snapshot. I love the fact that we have this 4-point focus now. It really does crystallize the lesson. So if we look at the 4-point focus, Paul's Christian ethics also includes an internal ethics of design. We are to align ourselves with God's design for all creation as follows. 1. This process begins with recollection of the apostolic teaching in Scripture that discloses God's design for creation. 2. The believer must enter into prayerful petitioning and prayerful meditation through Christ in order to internalize the conviction for this ethics of design. And then 3. This includes God's design of habitation, which is divinely appointed male-female relationship. Syntheia, which is sun plus ethos. Syntheia means design of habitation, cohabitation. And it is divinely appointed as the male-female relationship. And Paul says that position is to be affirmed, and the other position is to be negated. So you've got the Kateko, pros euchomai, and syntheia. Kateko, pros euchomai, and syntheia. Recollection, prayer, and cohabitation according to God's design. Recollection of apostolic teaching, prayerful meditation on the scriptures, and then coming into God's presence in alignment with Christ as the Kephali head, and in alignment with the design of habitation. So we get a great recap, which really does center on, again, the true fundamental concept that Christ is the Kephali alignment of all of creation, and Christ is the Kephali alignment of all of cohabitation. And where do we find apostolic teaching on Christ as Kephali? We find that in the Scriptures. Therefore, we meditate on the Scriptures, we internalize the Scriptures, and that way we gain the conviction to follow the eternal, divinely appointed design for creation and the eternally appointed divine design for habitation. Design for creation and design for habitation, appointed by God through Christ from the very beginning of creation itself. All things were made through Him. All things were created through Christ. The appointed design was inaugurated through the Son. He is the Rhema voice of the Logos. I've said that in many previous lessons, but Paul's reiterating that point that Christ is the Kephali because he is the pre-existing Rhema voice of the eternal Logos. He is the direction and the Kephali alignment of the design for God's creation, period. He is the alignment for the design of creation and for our ethics of design, which is a part of Paul's ethics of new mind. So it gives us a recap that truly does bring home the fact that Paul is definitely transitioning into practical application of his ethics of new mind. We've covered a lot of theoretical material on the ethics of new mind in chapters 1 through 9, but now in chapters 10 and 11 we truly have moved on to the very practical aspects of this ethics of new mind, and this time it's the internal ethics of design that is inserted within the theoretical ethics of new mind. Again, a very concrete teaching, a very practical teaching. It's phronesis, it's practical wisdom to be applied to practical praxis action. That's going to wrap up this recall triad for chapter 11, 1 through 16. We'll pick up next time on chapter 11, verse 17.